And so the first of our 4 race videos then, Sonoma Raceway, previously Infineon Raceway, wet conditions, Formula C, and really this is more a case of not me going flat out. The AI here was on an easy setting, it seems, so I was really just looking to look at the visuals, as we all are, and see the details. What do we think of it? What do we think of it on the PS4? Well, personally, I'm very impressed. It's one of the best looking racing games ever made on console, that's clear. You know, the developers have taken the option really of going for the 60 frames. Obviously that's going to affect the amount of detail that you have, but the fluidity you get in return, you know, for me, nothing makes up for that. You know, I would go for 60 frames every time, and it's great to see that they've managed to maintain the detail. What you're seeing here is obviously the frame rate as it is in terms of the build, where the build is, and obviously there's going to be optimizations and everything else made there as well. Now, I've not noticed any slowdown given the amount of cars in a race, but obviously, you know, some courses and cars will be optimized more than others, I'm assuming, some aspects, so it's still very much a work in progress that we're seeing here. But this is all the PS4 version. Some people asking if I've seen anything of the Xbox 360. Not yet. This focus was very much on the PS4 console, but I expect the Xbox 360, what am I saying, Xbox One, but this is very much a focus on the PS4 version and seeing how we're getting on. Helmet cam looks fantastic, as you've been seeing there, and of course T-cam works well in terms of showing the environment and how the car's behaving as well in terms of the front wheels, and I wanted to just sort of vary it in terms of the visuals. Of course you can select either camera view and see that full screen as well, but I also wanted to show you this combination of the two that we usually show in terms of our multicams on the channel. So I'm just taking it easy behind these guys, I'm just following them, and in a moment I'll speed up a bit and go a little bit quicker and just see how this car handles a bit more. But I just wanted to take a nice tour, see what it's like with all the cars on there. No doubt when they're going flat out, they'll be very challenging indeed. In terms of wet conditions, it still varies at the moment. You know, I found some cars to be extremely challenging, and you know, it's so difficult to keep up with the AI. And then in some other races, the grip is reasonably good. You know, in this car, for example, we're getting some understeer. Obviously, you need to be mindful on the power in terms of how you turn in and straightening the car before you get on the power. But on the whole, it's just a little bit of common sense here and there. You need to just glide the car through the corners rather than aggressively taking a racing line to prevent the car from spinning out. Obviously it generates some understeer as well, and you'll see that especially on the downhill sections. You'll see another example of that in a moment. So I'm going much quicker now. I'm just pulling away and looking to enjoy it and just see what we can get in terms of the handling here as well. So enjoying the visuals, but at the same time, you know, I want to try and get you guys some feedback. Handling on the whole has constantly improved on project cars since the early build. They're always developing it all the time. There's lots more subtlety in there now, you know, and I think that it's been very brave of Slightly Mad Studios to be so open, because you're seeing a game in a very naked state. You know, many of the games you see are in development for years and look in a dreadful state until a few months before they're actually, you know, released, in which case everything's put together and optimized. So it's been interesting to see the approach they've taken. As I take these final couple of corners now, you can see building speed all the time as I get a better understanding of the car. Going into the final hairpin, you'll see just a little correction there where I get on the power and I can feel the car spinning away from me. So it does look sometimes easier on these videos than it actually is, or it does look like there's less input going on than there is, but I can assure you that you can spin out very, very easily indeed in these cars, in these conditions, and I'm sure Project Cars racers who have the PC version will agree with me. Going on to the full screen video now, we can see again lots more detail. You know, I wanted to show all of you the detail that's available, you know, in the different cars, different views and everything else, and you can see for yourself here lots of detail to enjoy. No doubt there'll be a hardcore analysis of the droplets on the screen and how they behave. I'm sure everyone will have a different approach on how they'd like to do that, and obviously some people will argue that the spray from the car in front doesn't create excessive droplets on the screen in this view when it did in, say, the windscreen view on some of the other cars. But you know, it's whatever the development approach has been so far, makes it playable all the same. And as you can see, visibility is always affected slightly as well, just simply by the spray being there. So either way, I think they've created a nice wet environment there, and given the technical limitations and the challenges on the hardware to keep the frame rate up, I think they've done a very good job so far, and I'm sure you'll agree. And what are we talking about here? We're talking about one of the best looking racing games ever made for a home console. You know, we've got this and Drive Club on the PlayStation 4. You know, that's it. You know, in terms of visuals. So, in terms of visuals, there's nothing really to worry about as such. It's just a case of enjoying what you've got here, and you can see the full screen T-cam view, as I like to call it, even though it's not a T-cam in these particular cars, but you get the idea. Nice view of the track behind car there. I find myself not wanting to race behind car myself. I tend to be in the car, but a lot of console fans will use this view, so from time to time in the videos we'll look at that view as well. The bumper cam varies in terms of usefulness. It's something I complain about a lot in videos or on games in general, where they're just simply too low. It really varies in this game. Some cars can be quite playable. On the whole, it's still a little bit lower than I would like, but either way, it's not too bad. And now as I speed up, I again just use that. Oh, nearly mounting the car in front and continuing on my way as I simply get on with it now. There are varying weather conditions, from light rain to overcast to stormy, to look out for. So, you know, depending on what you want. There's also changeable weather conditions as well, so you can have dynamic changing weather conditions. And I believe there's also a system whereby you can actually have weather conditions that reflect the real circuit at that time. So there's lots of options in terms of weather and time of day in the game, and there's lots going to be for you guys to explore as we go around on this lap, working our way down the hill again. So we wanted to, you know, I've wanted to, in filming this, I've wanted to really just give you guys the absolute maximum from the coverage opportunity we've got. There isn't a great deal of time. You get on there, you film a race, you move on to the next one, and you hope that you keep them as clean as possible while you learn. But either way, it's nice to get some great coverage out for you guys and some visuals to enjoy and form your own opinion of when this game is released. But so far, handling's developed nicely, as you can see. Visuals are looking great on the console, and it's all hunky-dory so far. Certainly it's coming along. Let's hope the game is nice and solid when it's released on the 20th of March. And of course, you can look forward to our build-up content. There'll be lots more content from us across the different formats, and I'll be showing the Xbox One version as well as soon as it's available. So there's going to be lots to look forward to there as we complete the second of 2 laps now and look at the replay cam. Replays, something which is neglected a lot in a lot of games. Not always certain as to why. I think developers sometimes don't like to show LODs changing, that's the car model detail changing as it comes down a straight, so they don't like to put the cameras in the normal TV positions. At least that's what the excuse I've heard quite often. Either way, it's something that's been around on the PC for a while in different racing games. They've had some great replays, but on console, replays are often limited to a camera hovering around a car, looking unrealistic, giving you no views of the surrounding environment or the surrounding cars. The reality is that the TV cameras give you that real TV feel and the best view of the action. So in that sense, it's good to see they've used a lot of TV cameras where possible on these different views and giving a real authentic feel to the replays, something which I like. And of course, replays come in handy, I find, for seeing your driving, seeing your lines, but also just looking cool when you want to take a break as well. You can leave a little bit of a demo running, and it's nice to see some awesome driving action. In this example, it gives us a good view of the action as well. Now, how many cars have we got running here? I think we had about 10 cars I had running on this one. I reduced the field for this particular race just to make it easier to get around cleanly. Those that have played Project Cars know that the AI obviously is still in development, still being optimized all the time, and so it's simply less room for error in making these videos. So nice views of the circuits, and you can see as I work my way around the approach to the different cameras and the different replays. And you know, it's that kind of feeling that you get to feel like a real racing driver as well when you see it racing like that. I mean, squint a little bit at the screen and it's almost real. So certainly a good job done as we come up towards the end of this first lap. I put that little spurt on to get me up through the fields. I hope you've enjoyed the approach we've taken here. We've wanted to keep everybody happy in terms of the coverage that I'm showing on the races, to really just give you guys the maximum, give everybody the option of what they want to see, use all the views at some point, and give you guys feedback where possible. If you have questions, do post them, and do say hello on the Team VVV website as well. We have the Discuss system now on there, so if you're registered on Discuss chat system, do come on, say hello, have a chat with us, and ask your questions, because that's really where we take a lot of our feedback from. Is often that's our base is on teamvvv.com, and sometimes things can get lost on different videos, but we do find it much easier to follow on the website. So this is me now pulling away on this second lap and really looking to see what I can do in terms of pushing. You'll see the car going wide there. That was where it just wasn't gripping as I would like, but of course a long corner, it comes back to you, so that's fine. And then of course braking much later here this time. I broke early before because the car was there. I just wanted to see where I could brake. I brake a little bit too late, so the car goes a little bit wide here, but it's good because you can pull the car back again on the exit, so it's not too bad on those two corners. So you can test at the right times and still learn a little bit how it handles, but you can see much more speed this time, and it working well with the different cars. I look forward to testing as well. I mean, there's so many different cars in the game, and do check out the playlist for Project Cars on the channel. We've got plenty of videos, and the Project Cars page on TMV website. We've got roughly 100 articles we've written on the game, so certainly it's been a pretty extensive round of coverage, but I hope you've enjoyed this run on Project Cars. More to follow, and there'll be more from me very soon.